I know that it's already, how many days? Oh, it's 11 days. It's already 11 days into the month, but I'm going to be doing my TBR anyway because there are a big load, shall we say, I need and want to read this month. I've already read a bunch of books this month, which is great, but they've just been kind of random pickings of books that I've gotten a hold of on my travels because I'm now back. This is like my first full day back in the city after traveling for feels like a long time. Back from Newfoundland. You're gonna see all that vlog footage coming very soon in the next vlog, so don't worry, but I'm back from that trip, had a wonderful time, and then I've just been away. Literally was only back for a couple days and then headed out somewhere over the weekend. I went to the Grand Prix. I went to the Grand Prix in Montreal for Formula One, and it's gonna be in the next vlog as well. So I just had the time of my life, had an amazing weekend. I can't believe I went to a race. It was just fantastic and I had a really good time. I'm back now and man, we have some books to read. So we're gonna do the usual thing. Well, it hasn't been usual for a while, but you guys seem to really enjoy the plan my TBR with me, plan my reading month with me. I love those videos. I love watching those videos. I think they're so cozy. I love getting a peek into people's bookshelves, their TBR, what is kind of going on in their mind for the seasonal reading, whatever. So that's what we're gonna do. My iPad I think is done charging, so we can add another layer, add some more pages, shall we say, to my reading journal, to my TBR on Notability. I think what I'm gonna do first, the cats are going crazy, is make an espresso so I can join them. Is it that sweet? I guess so. Okay. Welcome to the hell that is my bookshelf once again. Once more, onto the breach we go. What a mess. I've entered into a battle of wills with myself. I am not gonna buy nice new bookshelves until I leave the apartment because in my mind I'm like, I am moving. As soon as something comes my way, as soon as I find a new place to live, I am moving. And so the months just keep going by. Obviously I'm still here, and so of course the bookshelves just keep getting messier and messier. There is now no hint of organization. There's no rhyme or reason for the way things are. I did have good success pulling out this first book because it was in the front room. This was the pick that you guys voted on for our World Tour Book Club over on Fable. It's been so nice to see everyone's thoughts and to read around the world with you guys. It's been really fun. So the book that won for June is The House of the Spirits by Isabel Allende. Incredible. Okay, so this book is really long, so I am gonna need to start this ASAP, but I have been wanting to read this book since I started BookTube, and everyone and their mother and sister and father and brother and dog and God, mother, the plants in their garden, the dust motes on their ceiling have been like, you obviously need to read this book if you love 100 Years of Solitude, because it is said all the time how similar the two books are in that they both contain large doses of magical realism. They both follow a family, one single family, I believe, over the centuries. Is it centuries? Oh, 3 generations. Okay, three generations. We have the patriarch, who is a volatile, proud man in pursuit of political power, which is tempered by his love for his delicate wife Clara, a woman with a mystical connection to the spirit world. So I'm pretty sure that most of this book follows on the women. The way that it starts, Barabbas came to us by sea, the child Clara wrote in her delicate calligraphy. House of the Spirits, I'm finally tackling it this month. I am so scared that I'm not gonna like it because the last book that people really recommended to me that they said was like 100 Years of Solitude was Beauty is a Wound, which we also read for the book club. I didn't like that book, and so this one I'm really hoping I'm going to enjoy. I've never read Allende. Is The House of Spirits #1 priority. I'm very excited. Who is dismantling the closet? Kel, is it Kel? No, it's Grendel. So the next books that I have to read, or book rather, for our book club Game of Tomes, for May and June we have been reading through The Lord of the Rings, which is just... I read The Fellowship of the Ring in May. That vlog is now up and I loved it. 5 stars. That was a reread, but Fellowship is where I stopped, and so I've never gone any further. I've never read The Two Towers. I've never read The Return of the King. I'm currently reading The Two Towers. I am so sad, but I also need to kind of get my butt moving a little bit faster with these because we're already 11 days into the month and I'm only, the page numbers, because they're like, it's one book technically, they just keep going. So I'm on page 474. I'm simply not interested in doing the math there, so I'm not gonna tell you really how many pages that is. I do have a feeling, like I'm not really that far into it, but I'm loving it. I do have a feeling that Fellowship might turn out to be my favorite of the trilogy, just because the beginning of the journey is so sweet and cozy and comforting, and I love the sections in the Shire and like all of the sections before we kind of get to Rivendell. Everything like up until Rivendell, that was like my kind of jam, and now that the company has of course split and we're going off into different directions, I'm not actually sure how much I'm going to enjoy, like comparatively, just comparatively. It's still gonna be a 5-star, like I can feel that, but just compared to the first book. I'm meaning to make an announcement, but Carolyn and I have been so swept off our feet. In Carolyn's case, literally swept off her feet. If you haven't seen her announcement on Instagram, you should go check it out, because so incredibly happy for her. Carolyn, if you're watching this, I love you. You know this. So happy for you. But you're also probably wondering where our video or live show for Middlemarch was. Where the hell is it? She's had her hands full of a fairy tale. I've been watching cars go fast, so we haven't really had the chance to do one yet, but we're still kind of working on getting everything together for that, so don't worry. Yes, I'll also be reading Return of the King in June. Oh god. That's kind of a lot of pages, like just looking at this. For book club reading, Return of the King ends here, and then this is all appendix, but I want to read the appendices. I really do. World Tour and Game of Tomes. As if that wasn't enough, I'm also in the middle of 2 books right now, which I'm just going to mention really briefly here because I'm also filming a weekly vlog. Started Twisted Games by Anna Huang. I bought this a while ago. You guys told me to skip book 1 in this series because you said I would hate it, and also book 1, which is called Twisted Love? No, that can't be right. It is. Oh, everything is twisted. Okay, you couldn't change up the titles a little bit. The first book is called Twisted Love, and that book ended up on your guys' like list of, I asked 700 of you, I think it was. What was your worst book you've ever read? That book made it into that list. So, listened to you, skipped it. Probably should have skipped this as well. I'm gonna keep reading a little bit because I'm only this much of the way through, but just kind of just cringe. Like honestly, it's kind of just cringe. This is about a princess of a completely made up European country and her bodyguard, who is just way too overzealous with his job because I don't actually, there's something in his past. He's like an ex-Navy SEAL, and he's just like kind of taking his job of guarding her a little bit over the top. I'm only 127 pages through, but like I read that in kind of one sitting because it's just so fast to read. Book that I'm definitely not gonna DNF because this is wonderful. Oh, if wonderful is the right word. It's an outstanding book. Is 10 minutes 38 seconds in the Strange World by Elif Shafak. I started this on audio on my train ride home yesterday, which thank you Via Rail. Shout out to Via Rail. You're always delayed. You're always late. You always stop in the middle of the tracks. You always ruin any hopes I have of a predictable travel day. So thank you to Canadian Rail for that one. But that means that I got almost halfway through this book listening to it. I have been kind of down in the dumps with my audiobook listening experience recently. I just haven't really hit on anything that I've been like, you know those audiobooks that you just sit there and you're just like, oh my god, I literally just want to keep listening. I find I'm very picky with that, and like I usually have to be doing something else while I'm listening to an audiobook, otherwise I'm just like, I don't really want to sit here. I'm sad I am sat down listening to this. This is so good. I highly recommend the audiobook as well. Whoever the narrator is, wonderful. She's absolutely wonderful. This is about this girl named Tequila Layla in Istanbul. She's not from Istanbul originally, but she runs away to the city, and it is about the beginning. Okay, let me just tell you. The first chapter is called The End, and so we start at the end of her story, where she has been dismembered and left in a dumpster. So she's dead. She's completely dead, but her brain keeps going. Even though she's been murdered, her brain keeps going for 10 minutes and 38 seconds and flashes through different things. It is so it's so upsetting. It's such a well done novel. It's just so good. It's so good. And I'm only 130 pages through, so loving this. This is Pain. I've been talking for way too long. It's time to see what else we can squeeze into this month's TBR. I said in one of my videos that the Ministry of Time, which I recently got, I was like, this looks so cute, this looks so sweet, this looks so funny, because this is about an agency that our main girl works for that is trying to see what time travel is like. Established government ministry is gathering expats from across history to establish whether time travel is feasible for the human body. She has to monitor one of these expats that's been chosen, and so she gets 1847, which is Commander Graham Gore, who perished during one of the dangerous expeditions to the Arctic Circle. So she is tasked with like introducing him, I guess, or monitoring him in the modern world in present day, and it just looked hilarious to me. It looked sweet. I think there's a romance that develops between the two of them, between this like man from 1847 and this 2024 girl, and it just looks cute. But then so many people commented under that video that like, oh, Emma, like it is heartbreaking, it is not fun, who's gonna tell her it's not sweet, it's like agony. The other one I picked off, I've been meaning to reread this book for a couple years now, and I've always wanted to reread it in the summer months, and also when I was living still in like a big city, because the book is From Little Tokyo with Love by Sarah Kuhn. I listened to this on audio a few years ago, and I bought the physical copy because I liked it so much. It is a young adult, it's kind of a young adult rom-com, and I find that just like, first of all, romance for me, but also young adult romance, young adult contemporary. It is so rare for me to get along with anything from that genre, so the fact that I liked From Little Tokyo with Love enough to buy it speaks volumes. This is about Rika, who lives in Little Tokyo in Los Angeles, and she has never really known like who her mother is or her father. I don't think. She lives with her aunt and cousins, and she's also like big into martial arts, and she's like competing. It's set during 1 week, I think, during, is it the film festival? She starts to find out about who her mother really maybe is, but she also runs into this boy named Henry Chen, who is an actor. Oh, okay, I'm pretty sure it is a film festival. Who's also there for the festival, and he's just trying to kind of get away from the fame and everyone following him, and they run into each other, and then reads like a montage to me. It really just read like a cute montage, scavenger hunt, tourist, like she is guiding him throughout Little Tokyo in LA because he's like a tourist. I think it's his first time visiting there, and so it was just cute. I just found it really cute and like readable, and it didn't tick me off or annoy me like a lot of books in this genre do. We'll see if it lives up to everything that I loved about it when I actually read it physically, but I've been really wanting to read this for a long time. The other one I pulled up is Rilke, and it is his notebooks of Malte, Laurids, Brigge. So this is one of my favorite works of his. I just talked about this in a video. And I actually just saw the most stunning edition of this at a bookstore in Montreal, and I didn't buy it, and I was so proud of myself for not buying it because I was like, I don't need 2 copies. Do you know how many copies of Rilke you own, Emma? And now that I'm back and I'm holding the like really tiny penguin edition in my hands, I'm like, you are so stupid. You're so stupid for not buying that book. It was like a wonderful, gorgeous, I forget what edition it was. Might have been vintage. I'm not sure. But I'm like, why? Because I don't like reading from the pocket books. I don't like reading from the pocket collection. I want a big book. This is just a great little synopsis. This dreamlike meditation on being young and alone in Paris is a feverish work of nerves. This is the first page. I haven't read this in so long. I can't believe I never annotated this when I read, but this then is where people come to live. I'd have thought it more of a place to die. Oh my god, why didn't he write more novels? This is the only novel that Rilke ever wrote, and I'm so mad about it because it's so good. I have been out. I saw hospitals. I saw one man who tottered and then collapsed. People gathered around him, which spared me the rest. I saw a pregnant woman. She was inching ponderously along by a high, sun-warmed wall, occasionally touching it, as if seeking assurance that it was still there. Yes, it was still there, and behind the wall, I located it on my map. Maison d'accouchement. Very well, she will be delivered of her child. That is where their skill lies. To think, for example, that I've never consciously registered just how many faces there are. There are a great many people, but there are a great many more faces, for every person has several. There are people who wear the same face for years on end. Naturally, it shows signs of wear, it gets dirty, it cracks at the creases, it splays out like gloves worn on a journey. These are simple people, practicing economies, and they do not change their face or even have it cleaned. It'll do fine, they insist, and who is to prove them wrong? The question, of course, since they have several faces, is what they do with the others. They keep them for best. Their children can wear them someday, but it has been known for their dogs to go out wearing them too. And why not? A face is a face. It's just this whole thing. It's so good. Like, this is exactly what I want my novels to be, and I would really like to read this when I'm actually living in a large city. This is something I would also like to read before I leave. Guess whose library card just literally expired right now. That's great. Okay, anyway. It's called The Torontonians by Phyllis Brett Young. I believe this is a collection. Is it short stories? Wait, maybe this is not what I think it is. I think we're gonna give it a try anyway. I've never heard anyone talk about this ever. Now that we've gone through these precarious shelves, I do have another place where I've been storing my books. I don't think I've showed you because it looks so stupid. But essentially I took my kitchen, what do you call it? Rack, called a cart, where I used to store like my teas and smoothie ingredients and all that stuff, and I was like, I need space to put some books. My kitchen cart has become like a book cart, but it's not a book. It wasn't meant to be a book cart because, like, yeah, there are book carts that people use all the time now as like very cute TBR carts. This one is falling apart because it was only meant to hold like spices, and it's holding 70 pounds of books, and it's like, it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Anyway, let's go see. Okay. Here is the poor, sad book cart in the corner of this room. Okay, I actually really want to read this red one right here. This is Magnolia Parks, and oh, it's way down there. I just think that would be so fun. Yeah, I would just like something really fun. So I'm gonna see if I can rip that one out of there. These are more, I feel like I'd like to listen to a lot of these on audio, especially with authors that I haven't been impressed by in the past, like Ali Hazelwood, Christina Lauren. I don't know if I want to give them another chance just yet. These are the Penguin Modern Classics editions. These are honestly some of my favorite editions. These guys, I think they're so fun. I've read most of them, but what else? The Tunnel is one I haven't read. I would really like to read that. They're all like nice and short. On the very bottom down here, these are my Penguin classics, which I think most of those are read. Can see Grendel, my buddy. I really want to reread The Night Circus. It has been so long since I read The Night Circus, but I feel like this is a book for the fall time. Honestly, that looks great, but this one is also calling to me because I love this cover of it. I have 2 editions of this. The other one is here, but I really love this copy of The General and His Labyrinth. Guys, books are just great, and I just want to read them all. That is like a very ambitious, lengthy TBR. Most excited and also most dreading. Sorry, Grendel really wants this spring. Lord of the Rings. Let me know what your TBR is for this month, and also if you are in the middle of reading Lord of the Rings or if you finished Lord of the Rings, how is it going? Hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. So nice seeing you again.